Elliott, thank you very much indeed for taking the time to talk to us.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
No, it's okay, and we've known each other for a few years. But the reason specifically that I wanted to talk to you was for a lot of the people as Artisiam we've worked with over the number of the years have been, I guess, companies that utilize technology rather than are the creators or the providers of technology. So it struck me that one of the key things that we needed to do was to make sure that we understood how things had changed over the last few years or over the last 20 years from a technology provision point of view and the people who actually enable all the different changes in the world. So, as I say, thank you very much indeed for taking the time. And first question to you is really, what have you seen in the way of changes to technology abilities that have impacted the world of customer experience and contact centers?
Well, I think there's been a huge amount of change looking back over the years. You know, we started out with a situation where everything was constrained to a certain extent by the physical location and physical capabilities and physical technologies, even to the extent of, you know, what would be the cabling in a particular contact center, or what would be the cabling to a desk or a turret or a user device. And then there was the big rush into public cloud. And as many organizations pushed forwards into a public cloud type solution, it very quickly became apparent that actually the answer was not everything on premise in a data center or in a contact center or everything in a public cloud with a virtual contact center. The answer, I think in many cases, was a multi-cloud solution. We have the ability to take the workloads and process them with an agent in the most appropriate place.
Apparently my toaster has AI. So,
Yeah.
AI hype or not?
It's a bit of both, I think. What I say to organizations that we work with is that if you're not doing any AI at the moment, that can't possibly be the right solution. To think that absolutely every business process is going to be enabled with AI, well, there are very few companies that are there yet. The answer is somewhere in the middle. And I think there are absolutely dramatic improvements and business benefits for having AI. The key skill is understanding what is the right question that the business needs to ask. Then therefore, what AI models can you build and what is it that you want to predict? And it turns out that just very small adjustments of asking exactly the right question makes a difference. So for example, if you were to build a machine learning model that says what percentage of these teams in a contact center are going to hit their goals, their sales goals for a particular day, that is a very different question to how many teams are not going to hit their sales goals. Okay. And at first you might think, well, that's counterintuitive, but it turns out that the characteristics of the data and the way it's processed make an absolutely massive difference.
So, still what's we're looking towards the future, innovations.
Well, we talked earlier about the concept that a contact center needn't be tied to a particular location. And one of the things that we've been thinking a lot about at Dell Technologies is transforming the workplace and transforming where people can work from. So, for example, you see lots of innovations around security in edge devices and laptops, tablets, PCs. We are factoring in video conferencing facilities into screens, mobile screens and laptops. We're giving the ability for the system to detect who's sitting in front of it and based on that react in a different way. So if you sit down in front of your computer at home and it recognizes you, it'll say, hey, I realize that you're this particular person and I'm going to log you onto the soft phone. I'm going to bring up your CRM application and I'm going to give you access to your portfolio of customers. If you're a mobile worker who is taking your laptop into a cafe, but you still want to be able to process calls for a contact center, then if somebody in the cafe leans over your shoulder and looks at the screen will automatically lock itself. Or it will blur particular parts of the screen so that people can't see sensitive content in that area. Right. So we're constantly thinking about these innovations and including them as standard in devices that customers can use for exactly this kind of use case.
So much more intelligent biometrics and security.
Yeah, it's more of a fusion between the software and the hardware components and thinking about what are the actual use cases where organizations would like to give people this mobility, but do it in a secure way and a responsible, ethical way.